I hope that you're doing well. We are now midway through September. Where is the time going? So I thought I'd do a little kind of catch up of what I've been reading and just in general what I've been up to. So I wanted this to be a little bit of like a come chat with me, tell you about what I've been reading. A little bit of a reading vlog, come read with me kind of style thing. Lots of tea, candles and books. So let's get into it. I don't know about you guys, but I'm actually having a pretty good reading month. The last few months, I've kind of been only really doing one book a month, but that's because I've been making my way through the Stormlight archive. And if you don't know about the Stormlight archive, they're each like 1,000 pages each, and they slowly, progressively get bigger as you go through the books. So I've read Way of Kings and Words of Radiance, which I absolutely loved. They're definitely incredible, incredible books, but I just couldn't get through them fast. I think they're quite dense and detailed, and I have to just take my time with them. So I was very much enjoying them at my own pace. But this month, I was super excited because one of my top authors, R.F. Kuang's Katabasis book was coming out. So I had it on pre-order from Waterstones. I was super, super excited to get into that. I will be doing a little bit of a review, mixed emotions on that one, but we will get to that later in the video. So I'm currently on book 3 for the month, which I'm super, super happy about. And just taking things at my own pace, reading the books that I want to read and enjoy. And let me know in the comments down below what you've been reading. How many books have you read so far this month? Are we excited for the month of autumn? Because I am. I love getting cozy when it gets a bit colder. I love kind of like cuddling up with a candle and a book and getting all cozy with a hot drink, preferably tea or hot chocolate. I'm super, super excited for the colder season to come in. Just get a bit more reading done, a bit more cozy vibes, and hopefully a few more reading vlogs because I won't be going outside as much if it's raining. So guys, let's start off with my first read of the month, and that was Katabasis by R.F. Kuang. Just an appreciation for how beautiful this book is. Up close because it is just beautiful. So I was super, super, super excited to be reading this book this month. Let's just say I was left underwhelmed. Don't hate me, Booktube. I know it's a bit of a hyped book at the moment and lots of people have been reading it, and I for one was super excited to get into this book. I absolutely love Poppy War. I loved Babel. I didn't read Yellowface, but I do really enjoy the kind of dark academia vibes. So this book was definitely one that was in my kind of remit that I love reading. It just left me disappointed. I actually did a buddy read with one of my TikTok buddies, Sean. I'll pop his page up on here. Sean has a really lovely page. I love his content, so definitely go and check his page out if you don't already follow him on TikTok. Let's get into the proper review. So I gave it 3.5 stars. Yes, only 3.5, and to me it was in the line to be a 5-star read, probably one of the best books for this year, because Babel was my top book for the year 2024, and I absolutely loved her kind of dark academia writing for that style of book, and the magic system was incredible. So going into Katabasis, I kind of sort of knew what to expect, basing what I'd read off Babel. I was left a little bit disappointed. So the premise for the book of Katabasis is that you follow 2 students at Cambridge University called Alice and Peter, and their kind of mentor at university, Professor Grimes, has died, and now they go on this incredible journey through hell to try and save him so that they can basically finish their university course. I love the sound of it to start with. As the book starts, you kind of start, as the book starts, you follow mainly Alice's point of view all the way throughout. And she is this kind of really driven female main character who is kind of like toxically obsessed with academia, pushing herself to the very limits to strive in the magic that she is studying. And I believe, she studies analytical magic. What I loved to start with in this book is the kind of the quotes to philosophy and kind of logic puzzles that exist in the real world, because it made it feel somewhat real, because we all kind of know the kind of academic vibes. If you've been to university, you know how kind of intense it can be. Then you throw in this kind of like study of analytical magic, which is kind of like a combination of literature and mathematics and everything else, and it's kind of relatable. And I really did enjoy that about this book. But I think the problem is, as the plot develops, and there's no spoilers here, you kind of, in the points where the action builds up, whatever it may be, within the story, it kind of cuts away from that action to go into quite a lengthy, sometimes either detailed description or past memory flashback. And I know that they're there to try and build depth and kind of like give different pace to the story. But the main issue that I found with it is that you actually lose where you are in the story to go back in time to a memory of one of the characters, and then you go back and you kind of lose that kind of like punchy wow of the kind of action or tense kind of scenario that's unfolding. And then I thought, as you kind of go through the story and you've built some of the world, and the characters are kind of, everyone knows who the characters are, that continued rather than driving on the plot and the story, which after a while I kind of got to the point about halfway through where I really kind of had to push through some of the chapters because I just didn't find them that engaging. Now, that is my opinion. Other people may disagree with me or agree with me, but I just found the pacing was a little off compared to when I read Babel. And I just found that some of the scenes that you kind of went back to didn't really add depth to Alice or Peter. And I don't know really how I thought about it, but when I kind of sat down and reflected on it, I could only really give it 3.5 stars. Now, one thing I really did like in this book is that one of the characters has inflammatory bowel disease, and it talks a little bit about their story, kind of on how they deal with that and how it's affected their life. And I really relate to that because I myself have inflammatory bowel disease. I take regular medications for it, which is an injection, and that keeps me pretty fit and healthy. And to see a character have the same condition and it described in a way that really relates to me, actually, because they kind of describe it as an entity that they're kind of like in a battle with. And when I was really suffering when I first got diagnosed, that's how I saw it. It was almost like a physical thing that I felt lived inside me. It was kind of really nice to have that kind of point of view. So I really did appreciate that from R.F. Kuang there. But I just feel the ending of the book kind of fizzled for me. I felt like it was kind of, I don't want to give anything away, but it was kind of, you spent this whole journey following it along and it kind of just was over before you even knew it. And I felt like sometimes the plot was too easy the way that it went. I'm trying really hard because I don't want to spoil any of it. But yeah, I gave it 3.5 stars. I know so many people, some of my friends on Booktube and BookTok that have given it 5 stars. And then I know quite a few people that have given it kind of a similar rating to me. Sean, who I did the buddy read with, kind of gave it a similar score to me. We both felt that the pacing was off and it was a little bit of a kind of a bit of a naff ending. But yeah, definitely try it, because if you love dark academia, it definitely has that. The way that she has done hell in this book is really unique, and I think it's definitely a very good perspective that was taken, and not kind of going down the generic kind of like fiery pits vibe for what hell, the landscape of hell would be. So yeah, definitely recommend trying it. It just wasn't for me, and that's okay. But yes, I was still really happy to get this beautiful special edition from Waterstones. So that was my opening to this month. Obviously, was a little bit disappointed, but when I finished, I knew that I had a great book coming next for this month. The next book that I have read for this month of September so far is Golden Sun by Pierce Brown. Yes, this book is absolutely incredible. Now, I absolutely loved Red Rising, which is book one, and it has some very mixed reviews by some of my close book talk friends. Some of them even DNF'd it, which really surprised me, because I loved Red Rising. I just thought it was a great first book. And I really loved the character of Darrow and the journey that he goes on, with his kind of induction into the Gold Society, with attending the kind of like military school. Was really well done. Kind of left you on this kind of like hooked you in with the ending point. So my friends that I've read this series, I've seen their videos on TikTok, and they've given nothing but good reviews for Golden Sun and said it's even better than Red Rising. And I gave Red Rising 5 stars. So I was super excited to pick up this as my second book for September. And I actually did it as a buddy read with Danny over on TikTok. I'll pop his page up on there. But yes, the story continues a few kind of months ahead of where the story ended, and you come back to Darrow. Now, this book is just incredible. It's just action from the get-go, and I had no idea where the story was going. Also, I had no idea which of the characters you could trust, because there are just so many twists and turns. And just when you think, Darrow's catching his break, it's like, bam, this thing happens, and then you're kind of like hooked back in. And the ending of Golden Sun, oh my God, is 10 times better than the ending of Red Rising, which is book one. It is just so good. Like the twist at the end, my jaw was just dropped. Like I had to message Danny and be like, what the actual flip just happened. It's just so gripping. And I tell you, the urge for me to just like run straight into book 3 Morning Star and bin off the rest of kind of like my hopefuls for this month was really strong. But I didn't. I was being good, so I kept to it. But I cannot tell you my excitement to get back into book 3 of the Red Rising series. But yeah, what I love about this is the kind of like light sci-fi element to it. I love the kind of hierarchy system of the different members of society. Like you have the gold, who are kind of like the almost kind of like demigod beings that run this society, all the way down to the Reds, which is like the main labor force of this series. And I love the development of Darrow's character in this book. In the beginning, he's very cut off of trying to keep his kind of friends at bay, because he just is so conflicted in himself. And then towards the end of the book, you really kind of see him develop his confidence and kind of gets his humanity back, really, for the character, which is why I really loved it. But I cannot tell you, I just couldn't put this book down. Like I started it, easily got through 100 pages straight away. And that is normally quite a lot for me to read in one day, but I just wanted to pick it back up again as soon as I could. It honestly is just non-stop, and even then, when it kind of takes a bit of a slower pace between the action, there's still things that go on that help build towards the plot. So I don't think it's badly paced at all. I think the action really packs a punch, because you have those high and low moments in the book, and Pierce Brown does that really well. So I definitely recommend the Red Rising series if you want to try like just a good sci-fi sci-fi book. It's not really hard to follow. I found them quite easy to read. The characters are all really interesting. I love Severo. I think he is an amazing character in this story. I don't want to give any spoilers away to the plot, but yeah, I am just a massive fan. And if I could be a howler, I would for that world, because I just love all the characters, and that howlers group is just incredible. And yeah, I don't think I've recovered from the ending yet. Like, I really haven't. I had to kind of sit there and reflect on it for the evening, because I was just in such a state of shock. Like, I was on the last 20 pages and I was like, oh, nothing's going to happen. You know, it will kind of just help feed into the next book. But oh my God, it's like opening like a massive can of worms, really. And then you're kind of just faced with it and you're like, give me book 3 straight away. I just need to see how this goes on. But I'm being good and giving myself a little bit of a break. So guys, those are the 2 books that I've read so far. Let's get into what my current read is so far for the month of September. This book is very, very special. It is The Crooked Shard, which is book 3 in the Bane of the North series. This book was actually sent to me by the author Adrian, who him and his wife Jane are just honestly the most loveliest people. I met them at the book party event last year, and they're just so down to earth and lovely. Adrian is such a lovely guy, and his wife Jane is just so sweet and funny. And yeah, his writing is just incredible. Like, you know, I just started reading the book 1, Gallows Born, and was just instantly hooked. And I'm just sad that it's took me this long to get to book 3, because I am so kind of hooked back into this world again. He actually sent me this book, which is the signed one. I'll put a little kind of close-up insert here, but it's "We live as men but fight as gods," which is just such an epic quote. This book is so epic actually that I had to use my sword bookmark that I got off my friend Arena, which I just absolutely love. And knowing it's kind of like a Viking Norse god thing, I had to use it in this book. But yes, I am currently 35% of the way through. And yeah, once again, so Gallows Born ends on a really good kind of like cliffhanger. And book 2 launches straight into action. It's just a pure continuation from book 1 to book 2, which I really loved, because it didn't feel like you had to get back into that world. You were just kind of like right back there again. And yeah, book 2 ended on another twist, and then here we are for book 3, and I really enjoyed the opening. I think it's nice to be back with the main characters. So the main kind of male character you follow is Bane, and the main female character is Alruna. And I just love these characters so much. They're so different from one another, but they work so well. And when they're in the same scene, it's just so enjoyable to read their kind of love-hate relationship, I guess, that they've had throughout the series. And yes, I love where the plot is going. There's some more world building, because we've kind of moved from the area that we were in for book 1 and book 2 into this new area. Not going to give any plot spoilers, but it's really nice to kind of get further detailed. So book 3 kind of continues on from this new place that you find in book 2, Rise of the Draugr, and it kind of expands on that kind of empire, and that's really interesting. I really enjoy learning about that and the development of this kind of like different civilization from the one that these Vikings have grown up in. I mean, just having like a Viking in like a desert is just really, really funny and brilliant, and I absolutely love it. And yeah, the characters are really, really enjoyable. I love where the kind of future seems to be going for Bane and Alruna, but you never know what's going to happen in this book. And I just know Adrian's got something up his sleeve for this. So it's just hooked me in. I'm really, really enjoying it, and I cannot wait to see what unfolds. I think my prediction is that I'm probably due to be in a lot of pain with this book. I just have a feeling that you just can't keep all these amazing characters throughout the book, but there are 5, so maybe we miss having a character killed off or something happening to them in this book, and I can brace myself for book 4, but you just never know. So it'd be really interesting to see where the story goes. So guys, that's my current read and the 2 books I've read so far. Now that is kind of the books that I had kind of envisioned myself getting through for this month. So what's next? Good question. I think because of the kind of time that we have left in the month, I'm not going to commit to a big book because I do want to read the Dragon Republic, because I have the LitJoy Crate special editions of them. So I really, really want to read book 2 in the Poppy War trilogy. But I also just finished Words of Radiance, which was a fantastic book. Definitely go and check out my review on my TikTok page if you want to. So I think the next book that I want to try and get through and read for the month of September is a little novella, and that is Edgedancer by Brandon Sanderson. Yes, I just know that I need to progress with my Stormlight journey. I'm absolutely loving it so far, and this is a handy little novella that will keep me ticking over until I get to the beast that is Oathbringer. I haven't actually read what this is about, but you meet a character in Words of Radiance called Lift. I won't give any spoilers about why, but apparently the book is about their kind of journey, and I quite enjoyed their few kind of like chapters that they popped up in the book. So really interested to see how that book turns out. It's only 250 pages, so it shouldn't be such a bad book to get through. Definitely after having the kind of chunky books of The Way of Kings and Words of Radiance, I have a bit of a fear for a big book. So it was nice to read a few smaller ones like Golden Sun. Crooked Child, I think, is about 450 pages. So it's not too bad. It's not 1,000, you know? There's 1,000 and then anything else just seems instantly better. But yes, I am super excited to be getting into this novella. Hopefully I can finish it by the end of the month, but not putting any pressure on myself, just see how the month goes. And yeah, definitely let me know if you're reading the Stormlight Archive, what reading order are you using and whereabouts are you? Absolutely loved The Way of Kings and Stormlight Archive. I mean, I still think one of my favourite books of his is Warbreaker, because I just love that A, it's a standalone, and B, the magic system is by far one of the best magic systems I've ever read, and that includes Mistborn. But yes, absolutely loving my Sanderson journey. And I think my heart has only just recovered from the kind of like Sanderlanche that I was left with in Words of Radiance. Thank you so much for joining me here today. That's kind of my last now next kind of midway through September catch up and a cozy little reading vlog for you. Yes, if you've enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. I really appreciate all the support to my channel so far, and definitely gives me the encouragement to keep making these videos because I love making these videos. I find it really enjoyable, and I love kind of like editing them. And yeah, I absolutely love that we're coming up to the month of autumn, which is super cozy. So let me know if you haven't already what your current read is for the month of September, and how are you getting ready for the cozy month of autumn. Definitely comment one thing down below that you can't live without in the season of autumn. Mine is definitely some fleecy pajamas that I can get warm in because I feel the cold terribly. So yeah, thank you ever so much, guys. Catch you in the next one.